You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
You want to talk about accountability in America? Well, sit down, because what you are about to see is exactly why we need to keep the heat on those in power. In a stunning display of moral courage, Representative Pramila Jayapal absolutely lights into FBI Director Kosh Patel and, by extension, the Republican leadership over one of the darkest scandals in modern American history, the Jeffrey Epstein files. If you care about justice, transparency, and the principle that no one should be above the law, you need to pay attention. And before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This kind of reporting and analysis only matters if we all stay informed and engaged.
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
I can't speak.
You are refusing to answer the question. So let me tell you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information, and we'll look into it. Today, in response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about the survivors, and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to invite all investigative leads. Is the answer yes or no
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any people on your side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the stats. And you talk about cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you talk about cover-ups.
And I will take as much time as
Where were you during the Obama and Biden administrations when these so-called cover-ups were going on? Why did anyone in those administrations talk to any of these purported witnesses? I have welcomed every single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm going to take another couple of minutes.
When you accuse the witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works.
Listen, he didn't even. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, you have always been fair, but this is not fair. No, this is my time, and he said that the witnesses were not credible.
Seconds of time.
I'm going to get an additional minute of time because that's how much time he took.
You won't get a minute. You'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how much time you get. That's not how it works.
Mr. Patel, are the victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Any person with information about ongoing sexual trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am, I'm commenting on the evidence we have. We have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence, and we will look at it. And the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the Biden and Obama Justice Departments had. And they determined, not me, they determined that that information was not credible.
He's not letting me even ask my questions.
You ask the questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says, but that doesn't mean you get to interrupt him.
He's not answering my question.
Mr. Chairman, could we restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she can complete her question?
We'll give her additional 30 seconds, which is what I said earlier.
I'm going to keep taking my time because
you'll take the time that you get.
You are not answering the question. The question is,
you just don't like the answer.
Are these women credible? It's a yes or no answer.
I have answered the question.
Well, what is the answer?
I'm telling you, I'm the only FBI director that has welcomed new information in this case. This administration is the only one that has welcomed any new information in this case.
Is there a yes or no to
present new credible information? Present new information.
Are the victims credible or not?
I'll tell you what happened in the last Trump administration.
Are they credible or not? You can't even say.
Victims credibly reportedly came forward. And you know what happened? President Trump authorized the indictments of Jeffrey Epstein.
Called them
not Biden,
a hoax.
not Obama.
President Trump
no one else.
called the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
the gentlelady's time has expired. I gave her the additional 45 seconds she requested. The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for his 5 minutes.
If you would meet with the women who were sexually abused and raped and groomed at the ages of 14 and 16 years old. Are you going to cover up? Are you going to continue to cover up for the rich and powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell too, Mr. Chairman, but I don't want to yell above this.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New Jersey. I appreciate the gentlelady yielding back.
Are you going to allow them to testify, Mr. Patel?
Go ahead.
Will you allow them to testify to you, Mr. Patel?
Mr. Patel, thank you for being here. I know it's been an interesting and difficult 2 days. And I wasn't going to talk about the Epstein thing because there's a lot of other issues that affect the FBI, but I have to say a few words. I've sat...
Watching this hearing, the first thing that strikes you is Jayapal's laser focus. She's not here to play politics. She's here to expose truth. She asks simple, moral questions. Did anyone in the Trump administration, including Attorney General Pam Bondi, talk to the president about the Epstein evidence? Why were the victims ignored? Why were files sealed after promises of full transparency? These aren't partisan digs. They're fundamental questions about whether our justice system serves the powerful or the people. And then there's Kash Patel. Before this hearing, he was presented to the public as someone who would leave no stone unturned. Someone who promised total disclosure of what the FBI had on Epstein and his network of the rich and powerful. Survivors were given hope that this time, maybe, someone in authority would finally tell the full story. But that narrative falls apart the moment Epstein's name intersects with political power. Suddenly, transparency vanishes. Suddenly, Patel and Bondi claim there's nothing more to see. That's a cover-up, plain and simple. And Jayapal calls it exactly what it is. The most chilling part of this exchange isn't Patel's deflection. It's what it reveals about our system. When Jayapal presses him on whether survivors of Epstein's trafficking ring were credible, Patel refuses to give a straight answer. He cites prior DOJ assessments and bureaucratic jargon, sidestepping the moral reality. These are real women who came forward about being groomed and raped as teenagers. Saying, yes, they're credible is not a political statement. It is acknowledging the humanity and suffering of victims. Patel's refusal is a stark reminder that, for some in power, protecting the elite outweighs acknowledging victims. It gets worse. When Jayapal presses him on whether he or anyone in the administration met with the survivors, Patel avoids answering. He pivots, talking about the Obama and Biden administrations as if that somehow justifies what happened under Trump. This is the classic political deflection. Blame someone else, talk about process, talk about precedent, but never confront the moral question in front of you. And make no mistake, this is the moral question. It's about accountability, integrity, and whether anyone in positions of power can be trusted to put the law above privilege. Jayapal's power in this hearing comes from her insistence. She refuses to let Patel hide behind talking points or evasions. She brings the survivors into the room metaphorically and emotionally, forcing everyone watching to remember who this is really about. Teenage girls who were trafficked, silenced, and denied justice while billionaires walked free. And Patel's inability to say yes when asked if the victims were credible speaks volumes. Saying yes would have meant acknowledging that survivors deserve justice, even when that justice implicates politically connected people. His refusal tells you everything you need to know about who the system protects. Here's what really matters, and why this moment isn't just political theater. This is about the corruption of transparency itself. When an FBI director promises openness but delivers secrecy, when an attorney general shields evidence because it embarrasses the powerful, it sends a clear message. Justice has limits, and those limits are defined by privilege. And we've seen this pattern over and over. It's not new, but it is infuriating, and it is precisely why people like Pramila Jayapal matter. She refuses to let this cycle continue unchallenged. This hearing also lays bare the moral bankruptcy of certain leadership. Patel came in claiming the FBI would welcome new information, but he refused to even meet with survivors who offered it. He deflected, he spun, and he attacked others personally, all while avoiding the central question. Did the system fail these girls? Did the powerful use their influence to avoid accountability? The answer is in the record, and Jayapal's persistence ensures that it cannot be hidden. As left-leaning Americans, patriots who care about justice, this is the fight we have to fight every day, not just in headlines, not just in viral videos, but in the relentless pursuit of truth. If we sit back and allow privilege to shield criminals, we are complicit. If we allow political loyalty to override transparency, we are complicit. Jayapal's questioning isn't just a display of personal courage. It's a call to action for all of us who believe in justice and moral clarity. So, when you watch Patel dodge, deflect, and spin, remember what's at stake. This isn't about partisan theatrics. It's about the principle that no one should be above the law. Teenage girls were trafficked and silenced, while billionaires were protected. And the people in power who were supposed to stop it? Some chose cover-up. Some chose loyalty to the politically connected over the victims. That's why hearings like this matter. That's why we need to stay informed. That's why we need to demand transparency, accountability, and justice. If you care about justice and believe survivors deserve to be heard, don't just scroll past this. Share it. Talk about it. Comment. Like. Subscribe. Support independent voices who refuse to look away. Because the only thing more dangerous than power is power unchallenged. And if you want to be a patriot in 2025, it means holding the powerful accountable, whether they wear a suit, sit in Congress, or occupy the White House. Pramila Jayapal showed us what it looks like to fight for truth in the face of political intimidation. And for those of us who care about justice, transparency, and the moral health of our country, we have no choice but to carry that fight forward. The Epstein case isn't just a scandal. It's a mirror showing us what happens when power protects itself. And we must not turn away.